and learn things that we might not be cognizant of. Also, I'm going to make an announcement that's going to be very wonderful, and discuss our strategies for opening up the new temple in Bellevue, and then understand what is jnana and vairagya, which is very important for sustaining Krishna consciousness. But first we'll have a little bit of kirtan real quick. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Vajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Vajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Vajajana Ranjana Jamuna Dira Banachari Jamuna Dira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Vajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Vajajana Ranjana Jamuna Dira Banachari Jamuna Dira Banachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Srila Prabhupada, Patita Pavana Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra Ki Jai. Shri Radha Nilamadhava Ki Jai. All glorious to His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So I'm going to talk about a few things today that are of essential benefit for every devotee who wants to make spiritual advancement. I also want to speak about a miraculous thing that has happened. Also, I want to give a plan for opening up the temple in Bellevue for Shri Balaji. And in general, what is the actual purpose that we're trying to attain by doing such a thing? We were able to build this temple and pay off its mortgage after the temple opened in about 6-7 years. And that's been a very great benefit. And we can do even better in Bellevue. First of all, I want to say a special verse. It's Canto 3, Chapter 13, verse number 49. Nothing remains unachieved when the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with someone. Let's repeat that. I'll say it and then you can repeat. Nothing remains unachieved when the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with someone. By transcendental achievement, one understands everything else to be insignificant. Okay, children have to be quiet. You have to take the child outside. You have to take the child outside. He has a lot to say that's important, but we have a few other things also to say. Thank you very much. So, nothing remains unachieved when the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with someone. Repeat. By transcendental achievement, one understands everything else to be insignificant. One who engages in transcendental loving service is elevated to the highest perfectional stage by the Lord Himself, who is seated in everyone's heart. This should be our motto. In other words, we should repeat this every day and let it sink in deeply what it means. It means our salvation from the cycle of birth and death, if we understand. This is the ultimate goal of spiritual life. This is the ultimate goal for any human being. But very few people understand this. Even our own devotees may be in doubt about these points. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 10.10, Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam tam yevanamam upayantite. The Lord gives intelligence to the pure devotees so that they may be elevated to the highest perfectional stage. It is confirmed herein that a pure devotee who constantly engages in the loving service of the Lord is awarded all knowledge necessary to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For such a devotee, there is nothing valuable to be achieved but the Lord's service. In other words, there's nothing valuable to be achieved in the material world except the Lord's service. If one serves faithfully, there is no possibility of frustration because the Lord Himself takes charge of the devotee's advancement. The Lord is seated in everyone's heart, and He knows the devotee's motive and arranges everything achievable. In other words, the pseudo-devotee, pseudo means the false devotee, who is anxious to achieve material gains cannot attain the highest perfectional stage because the Lord is in knowledge of his or her motive. One merely has to become sincere in his or her purpose, and then the Lord is there to help in every way. This is extremely profound knowledge. If we understand this one verse and one purport, we will be successful in the human form of life. We'll go back to Godhead in this lifetime. That'll solve all your problems, your headaches, your backaches, your toothaches, your money aches, your love, frustration aches, this ache, that ache. They'll all go away because now you no longer have a material body. You have your spiritual body, which is eternal and not subject to anything material. Do you believe this? That's the question I'm answering you now. Do you actually believe this? Anybody want to say something? Okay, there's just a few yeses here. Let's say, yes, sir. What do you say? Maybe. Let me ask you something. Are you planning for your retirement? And now I'm going to ask you another question. Are you planning to go back to Godhead? You are? What is your plan? You have a specific plan for your retirement. What's your specific plan to go back to Godhead? You don't really have one. Don't lie. Tell the truth. Your situation is a situation of almost everybody else. Even though they're born in India, even though the Shastra is there explaining this, I just read it. This is Srimad Bhagavatam. But people are more interested in their retirement, and they have no idea how to save themselves from birth, death, old age, and disease. They have no plan. One time I was in Seattle, and I saw an old couple walking, and they were passing by a store where they sell caskets. Where people die, right? And they put it into a casket. And they have some really expensive, nice caskets. Some of them cost $15,000, $20,000, sometimes $30,000. So the old man and woman stopped and started looking into the window. And then the wife started pointing like this, said, "I want that one." And the husband said, "I don't like that. Give me this one over here." They have no plan to go back to Godhead. But they have a plan to have a very, very expensive, comfortable casket to put their dead body in. This is complete nonsense. This just shows the lack of knowledge that people have today, although they know how to make atomic bombs, they know how to make bridges, they know how to make tunnels, they know how to make a COVID vaccine and this thing and that thing. But they have no plan at all how to free themselves from the cycle of birth and death. And there's no excuse for this, especially for people that are born in India. There's no excuse for it. But it shows how much your culture has become what you would call contaminated by Western knowledge, science, philosophy, and so forth. The British have succeeded in ruining the Vedic Dharma. Whatever the Muslims didn't do, the British finished it off, you see. And today you have a lot of problems in India, and there are problems everywhere because of the same point. People cannot understand what is jnana and what is vairagya. So we're going to talk about that now. The jnana, you know, it means knowledge. So, and vairagya means detachment. So what is actually knowledge? Is it to go to the moon? Or to go to Mars? Is it to say that, oh, the ecology on the Earth is ruined now, we have to all build condos in Mars? What? Who's going to build a condo in Mars? And who's going to go and live there? In fact, this is what Elon Musk has been putting forward to so many people that, you know, and he did ask for volunteers for the first trip to Mars. You know how many people volunteered? 160,000 idiots. And he said it's a one-way trip. I mean, it sounds like a joke, but it's actually serious. So Elon, here's my message to you. You go first and let us know how it's up there in Mars. How's the weather? Is there a Starbucks there? And when you're going to start building your condos? This is nonsense. This is crazy. This is stupid. But this is what people are talking about. And especially for people born in India, you have the Vedas that have perfect knowledge. Not only how to live a perfect human life in a material body, but also how to liberate your body and go back to Godhead. But yet they're ignoring that. And they're trying to learn about, you know, Marxism, Freudianism, Darwinism, all these isms that lead you to a dead end. So, this jnana means knowledge. Now, what is actual knowledge? It's what I am, who I am. Everyone is seeking to know, who am I exactly? And they take such crazy paths to try and understand. L, B, G, T, Q, X, Y, Z. Instead of understanding who you are, now they're bifurcating everything and giving you 10,000 possibilities of who you are. Does that make sense? I mean, let's say your mother and father or your grandfather and grandmother, did they have a trouble trying to figure out who they are? No. They understood, well, I'm a man, I have responsibilities, I have a family, I have children. Or I'm a woman, I have responsibilities to take care of my children, to feed them, to dress them, to educate them. Nowadays, people can't even figure out who they are. Am I a man or am I a woman? Or am I an it? Or am I this or am I that? You see. So how many pronouns do they have now? Now you work in a company, right? You work in Meta. So How many pronouns do they have now in Metta? 100 plus pronouns. That means 100 different identities that people are trying to figure out. This is crazy. Okay. So that's not jnana, that is ajnana, that's ignorance. So Prabhupada says, what am I? In the conditioned stage of life, we are passing on our days, not in jnana. Okay, everyone has to be quiet. Everyone has to be quiet. If you have to do that, you can do it outside. If you can't do it quietly, do it outside. Normally we let people talk and it doesn't matter that much, but this is serious business now, what we're talking about. So Prabhupada says, what am I? In the conditioned stage of life, we are passing on our days, not in jnanam, but in ajnana or ignorance, just like the animals. The animals, they have no jnanam, no knowledge. They are pulling on their life with the bodily concept of life. The dog is thinking, I am dog, I am this body. He does not know whether he is dog or cat. These names we have given them, but he knows it well that I am this body. Well, if you ask a person today, who are you? They'll say, well, my name is so-and-so, I live in such a place, my father and mother, these are their names. And you can ask them a question, do you think you are your body? And almost invariably they'll say yes. But see, this is a false narrative. How can you say, I am this body? I can ask you a question, which body are you talking about? You changed your body hundreds, maybe thousands of times in this lifetime. We all start microscopically as a little sperm. Is there anyone here that will deny that they were that sperm at one time? Anybody? You can raise your hand and say, I deny it. No. So that was your first body. And then that body connected with the ovum, which is a nutrient source, and you started to grow. And you became a pea, something like that. First of all, the sperm, you can't see it. You need a microscope to see it. That was our first body. The ovum, you can slightly see with the raw eye. When they connect together, the sperm carries all the knowledge how to create a perfect human body. Now, ladies, there are a lot of you ladies here. Many of you have had children. Do you know how you made the child in your womb? Do you know? Do you know all the steps? How you created the eye, the ear, the nose? No, you don't know anything. This is a miracle. All that knowledge was in that microscopic sperm, and the soul was put into that sperm by Krishna himself. Of course, the scientists will say, oh, we don't accept that because we can't see it. Well, there's a lot of things you can't see. If we were sitting here 150 years ago, of course it wouldn't look like this. I told you, you know, there are these things called electromagnetic waves running through the air right now, carrying images and voices. You would say, ho, 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 what kind of marijuana are you smoking? They think I was crazy saying that, right? But today, would you deny that right now, in this room, there are electromagnetic waves going through these windows and the walls and carrying information and voices and movies and all kinds of nonsense? You cannot deny it, but you can't see it. There are many things we don't see, but we have to accept that they exist. Like, you don't see my mind. I don't see your mind. You don't see my heart. I don't see your heart. You don't see my intelligence. I don't see your intelligence. but you can't deny they exist, even though you can't see them. So here Prabhupada says that the cats and dogs, they don't really know who they are, but they know that I am this body. So he says, Prabhupada says, this is not jnanam. This chance is available when we are no longer cats and dogs, but human beings. Then we can understand that I am not this body. This is the whole point of being a human being, to understand I'm not this body. I have an eternal soul. That's who I really am. And my eternal soul is part and parcel of Krishna. That's who I really am. Who is my real progenitor? Who is my real father? It's Krishna. And my soul is part and parcel of the Lord. Right? That means we have individuality and we also have some free will. So this is real jnana. This is what we should learn. This is what we should teach our children. This is what should be our guiding principle, that I'm not this body. But yet, almost everybody believes I am this body. So this is not jnanam. This chance is available when we are no longer cats and dogs, but human beings. Then we can understand I am not this body. This is the difference between cats and dogs and human being. The cats and dogs, they do not know that they are not the body. They do not know they are not the body. Actually, they also have a spirit soul, just like we do, human beings. That they do not know. They know simply that I am this body, and the necessities of body must be fulfilled somehow or other. That is their business. Whole day and night they are working just to fill the necessities of the body, because there is no jnanam, there's no real knowledge. But the human form of life, that is not the business. Therefore the Vedanta Sutra says, atato brahma jigyasa. This life, human form of life, which is achieved after evolution of 8,400,000 forms of life, it is called ladva sudurlabham idam bahu sambhavante. Idam saridam. This human form of body is achieved after achieving many, many other lower forms of life. So there are 8,400,000 species. To get to the human form of life, you have to go through 8 million species. And once you get the human form of life, you have to have a civilized human form in order to understand I am not this body. I have an eternal soul. So what is the difference between a civilized human being and an uncivilized human being? The civilized human being is regulated by laws of material nature, or dharma. And the uncivilized human beings are not dominated by dharma, they're dominated by nonsense. So, in the second panel there, you'll see that there are four kinds of self-destructive behavior. 5,000 years ago, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, don't eat meat, don't take any intoxicant, including coffee and tea. Don't engage in any type of illicit sex outside of marriage, and even in marriage, it should be only for procreation. And don't gamble or speculate. Fast forward 5,000 years, these four things are part of the culture of America, of India, all over the world. And the result is, like those statistics you'll see, that's only for the United States. Millions of people are dying because they take intoxicants, they engage in illicit sex, they gamble, and they are always troubled by different types of miseries due to ignorance. Okay, so here, I don't want to go too deep into this, but the next point that Prabhupada makes is that jnanam and vairagya, this human form of life is meant for jnana and vairagya, knowledge and renunciation. So jnana means vairagya, and vairagya cannot be achieved without jnana. These two are relative terms. So jnana means that I am not this body, and my relationship with my body, they are also not my necessities. This is called jnana. And as soon as we understand that the simple necessities of my body are not required, that is called detachment or vairagya. Without jnana, we are simply thinking that we must satisfy the senses. Body means the senses. Indriyani paranyahur indriyabhya paramana. So in the bodily conception of life, or ajnana, in ignorance, our business is to satisfy the senses. That is called ajnanam. Aham rameti, I, me, and mine syndrome, or sense gratification. Okay, so this is the mindset of almost everyone today. 99% of the population of the world is convinced I am this body. My real purpose is to satisfy the needs of my body and my family, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. But that is not the purpose of human life. The human life is to actually liberate yourself from the cycle of birth and death. Okay, so therefore, one merely has to become sincere in his purpose, or his or her purpose, for understanding Krishna, and then the Lord is there to help in every way. Well, one example of that is, a month and a half ago, I made a statement that I wanted to pay off the entire mortgage of the Bellevue Temple, which is approximately $2.6 million. And I decided not to do anything else but to pray. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. And basically that's what Prabhupada is saying. Just chant Hare Krishna, and the Lord will help you, because he sees that you're interested in him by repeating his name over and over again. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 10:10, the Lord gives intelligence to the pure devotees so that they may be elevated to the highest perfectional stage. It is confirmed herein that a pure devotee who constantly engages in the loving service of the Lord is awarded all knowledge necessary to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna is going to help us in every way when we take a serious interest in him. And the easiest way to show that we have an interest in him is to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In the age of Kali, there are many benefits for devotees, because it's the most difficult time to become Krishna conscious. Almost everybody is not Krishna conscious. Therefore, there are what's called dispensations, special arrangements made by the Lord. So one special arrangement, Kahir dosa nide rajan astihi ekamahadguna kirtanadeva krishnasya muktasangasya jayate. In this age of Kali, simply by chanting Hare Krishna, you can be liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So I was thinking about this, and I said, well, wait a minute. That's what's being said in the Srimad Bhagavatam. That's what's being said in the Bhagavad Gita. Why can't I just believe this and do it? So I've been just chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And so far, because of chanting, because of meditating on Krishna, because of surrendering completely to the Lord, whatever you want, let that happen. Whether we are able to do something or not do anything, it's all in your hands. So far we have paid off $1.25 million of our mortgage. The bank has this money already. They were surprised. Is that right, Damodar? They were shocked. And I have a plan for the rest. The rest is $2.35 million. I have a plan for the rest. And hopefully we'll achieve it by the end of this month. Now, can we do it? Only if we take full refuge of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nothing is impossible if you are sincerely dedicated to serving Krishna. He promises that. Nothing remains unachieved when the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with someone. But by transcendental achievement, one understands everything else to be insignificant. Yeah, the war in Ukraine and Russia, it's actually insignificant. It's actually unnecessary. But it's insignificant. And the stock market going up or going down, it's insignificant. It's not pertaining to who you are and what you are. Right? Whether you have millions of dollars or whether you're poor and just going check to check, these things are not so important. What's important is, are we actually believing what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita? That's what's important. So he says very clearly in Bhagavad Gita, let me open this up here. There was a question asked of Prabhupada. A devotee said, Prabhupada, all of us have been in the material world for millions of lifetimes in different species, and now we've come to the human species. Don't you think it's going to take a long time for us to become liberated from all the sins that we committed? And Prabhupada said, 1 second. He said, in 1 second you can be free of all those sins. He said, you're not reading Bhagavad Gita? You don't understand? And then he quoted a verse. 18th chapter. And it says, 18th chapter, 66 verse, Sarvadharmam Prityaja Mahamekam Saranam Vraja. Aham Tvam Sarva Papepyo Moksyasya Mimasucha. He said, you're not reading Bhagavad Gita? You don't believe these things? Krishna says, abandon all varieties of religion. That means mainly fabricated religions. And just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. This one verse is the solution to all our problems. Do we believe it? That's the question. You see. Do we actually believe these things? And then Krishna says, Bhaktiya mam abhichananti yavanyaschasmi tattvata tatomam tattvato yadva vishitetad anantaram. He says that it is only by devotional service that I can be understood. So here we have 2 verses. One is saying that it's only by devotional service that we can approach Krishna. And the other one is saying if you surrender to Krishna, you're going to be free of all the sins you've ever committed. And in a minute, and you go back to Godhead. do we believe this? We have to ask ourselves if we actually believe these things. And if we actually believe it, can we convince other people of these things that are statements by God himself, by Krishna himself? This is not a question of Muslim, Hindu, Christian, Buddhist. No, it has nothing to do with that. This is about who we are. We are part and parcel of Krishna. That's why Krishna has given us Bhagavad Gita. That's why the Acharyas have given us Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why Srila Prabhupada came to the West and then went back to India to preach pure Krishna consciousness. That's why Lord Chaitanya appeared, to make everything very easy to go back to Godhead. It's not difficult to go back to Godhead in the age of Kali. It's more easier in the age of Kali than in any other age. Brahma had to meditate 311 trillion years and 400 billion years before he was able to see Krishna and understand who he is and what his purpose is. We hardly even live 100 years, but in this short period of time, if we take up chanting Hare Krishna seriously, you can achieve the greatest success of human life, that is, immortality, in your eternal spiritual body, in the association of Krishna and all the liberated souls in the spiritual world. There are many more souls in the spiritual world than in the material world. Many, many more. We're the dumbbells that walked away from Krishna voluntarily, being attracted by something in the material world. Just like that couple, they're attracted by the caskets, see. So they're going to spend thousands of dollars to buy a casket in which they want to have a very cushy, air-conditioned, maybe, casket, you see. Or, even more stupid, they want to be frozen in nitrogen gas so that in the future, if there's any solution to birth and death, they can be brought back unfrozen and healed of their sickness so they can live forever in the material body. That is the dumbest thing you could ever do. If you get frozen, when you wake up, you're not going to be alive, you're going to be dead, you know. And by the way, the first company that started that, it's called Cryonics, was in California, of course. They went bankrupt. And when they went bankrupt, the electricity was turned off. And all the frozen people, when they unfroze, they were all dead. So that's the truth, you see. But people are so stupid that they believe these things and they're willing to spend $250,000 a year to keep them frozen. You want to get frozen, Prabhu? Huh? No. You see. So better spend, you can get free on the internet, the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and learn how to attain liberation from the cycle of birth and death very easily. Just chant Hare Krishna, dance. Dancing is very important. It proves you're actually happy. And take prasadam to your full satisfaction. Come to classes and hear how easy it is to go back to Godhead in this lifetime. And associate with devotees. Go on Harinam Sankirtan. This movement is called Lord Chaitanya's Harinam Sankirtan movement. If you don't come on Sankirtan, you're not going to be capable of understanding these things. You have to go on Sankirtan because that is the Yuga Dharma of this age. It's the way everyone can attain perfection in this age. It's by Sankirtan, Harinam Sankirtan Yagya. all the other yajnas are impossible to be properly done in this age. There's only one yajna or sacrifice that's possibly to be done correctly, and that's Harinam Sankirtan. So, I don't want to say too much more about this, other than we're going to pay off the whole mortgage of that temple to give it a chance to thrive and grow just like this temple did. Are there any questions you would like to ask? Any questions? Of course, the biggest question is, do you believe what I said? Well, you can call our bank to find out that it's a fact that we did pay them $1.25 million. And there's a very good chance that we're going to pay off the rest. Very, very good chance. I'm going to need some help, and I'll tell you what that help is. So are there any questions? I said a lot of things that are very controversial. There must be some questions. Yeah, we have a real problem with technology in this temple. Although we have a lot of high-tech people here. We're really not technos. Well, it's good that they don't work. That gives you more time to think of a question. The only one that works is on the broken.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj. So in the beginning of the lecture, we read from Prabhupada's notes is talking about the false devotee.
Talking about what?
False devotee.
Pseudo-devotion.
Pseudo-devotee.
Pseudos means false.
Yeah. I was wondering, how do we identify ourselves we are not falling in that track?
Well, I asked myself that question when I first thought about paying off the, the mortgage of the Bellevue Temple. And I realized there's no benefit in being a false devotee. That means that you're not going to be successful in whatever you do. If you want to be successful, you have to become a real devotee. You have to actually believe in the holy name. You have to actually believe everything that's being said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Bhagavad Gita. Unless you believe these things, you remain a false devotee. So there are so many false devotees in this world, right? Not only in Krishna consciousness, but in all the religions. They're all talking about God this, God that. Then they get caught, the big preachers, they get caught having illicit sex with their secretaries. Then they get caught stealing money from the church. They get caught. And it's not just in Christianity, it's in Islam also. It's in Buddhism also. It's in Judaism also. These are all actually pseudo-devotees. Not everybody, but especially they get corrupted by material success. We have to look at gold as yellow stool. You see, we have to understand what something is. When the personality of Kali got caught by Maharaj Parikshit and he was going to kill him, he surrendered to the Lord and said, please don't do that. Give me some chance. So what did Maharaj Pariksit say? He said, okay, you can take refuge wherever people are hoarding gold. Because wherever people are holding gold, there's going to be illicit sex, gambling, meat eating, and intoxication. So, and that's a fact. Whenever people are overly, let's say, attached to hoarding money, just like in our, I'll tell you how we got to $1.25 million. We got from Northwest Share $367,000 that was in a bank account, just sitting there. And why can't we use that money to do something important? So we transferred that money. It was in a bank, in another bank besides our regular bank. We transferred that money to our account, and we donated it to the temple. And then I had received a donation from a person that has nothing to do with this congregation. He lives in Austin, Texas. He gave $160,000. So we added that to the $367,000. And then there was also from Synergy School, they gave $173,000. And then our Yasoda Dalal Prabhu had given already, and we were holding it in Northwest Share, $400,000. And he's going to give another $100,000 very soon. Then I asked a friend of mine who grew up in this temple and became a neurosurgeon, Rishi Kumar. He came to see me and we had a long discussion. And I asked him, I said, can you do something? He said, yes, I'll give you $50,000. You see, what good is money sitting in a bank if you don't really use it for something worthwhile? So that's how we came to $1.25 million. And now we're going to go further. We're going to go further, or try our best. So never say impossible. Impossible is when you don't chant Hare Krishna. Then things are impossible. If you chant Hare Krishna sincerely and serve the Lord without any personal motive, you will be successful. I guarantee it. I've experienced that. You can also experience it. So, hoarding money is sinful. If you die, I mean, if people die, like this one lady died, she had $4 billion in her bank account. You know who she gave the money to? Her cat. But you know who got the money? Her lawyer. The cat's dead already. So you see, hoarding money is sinful. If you have more money than you need and you're just keeping it in a bank and getting interest to this thing, that thing, it's actually a sinful thing. That extra money that you have should be used in the service of the Lord. That's called hedging your bet. You've heard of hedge funds, right? You know what a hedge fund? I'm sure some people don't know what it is. Probably you know what a hedge fund is. Can you explain it real quick?
The hedge fund is where they want to make sure that in case of their other investments go down, this investment balances it out.
Because it's made up of many, many different stocks.
Yeah, different instruments they use so that they do either options or they do futures.
Yeah, it's all cheating, but anyway. So, that couple that were choosing their caskets, they were not hedging their bet. They had one main point. When we die, there's nothing afterwards. But they don't know for sure that's a fact, you see. But almost everyone today believes that's a fact, that when they die, there's nothing. But smart people, they hedge their bet. They say, well, wait a minute. I'll give you an example of hedging a bet. When I was still a kid, maybe I think I was only 12 years old, my brothers were gamblers. So they took me to a horse race in Brandywine in Delaware. We had to travel about 2.5 hours to get there. And they brought also Doc. Doc was a Jewish pharmaceutical guy who had a drugstore. And he was our neighbor pharmacist. So Doc came along. Now I'm only like 10, 11, 12 years old, so I don't really understand what's going on. And when we get there, there's like thousands of people. And every time the horses start running, everyone goes berserk, they're jumping up and down, screaming the name of their horse. And it's a really sad thing to see. Anyway, I was watching Doc, and he went to the ticket counter, and he bought 2 tickets. He bought 1 ticket on the Daily Double, the one horse that's almost sure to win the race. And then he bought another ticket on the last horse, the least favored horse. When that race was over, Doc went to get his money. The last horse won the race. Now the first horse, it's like if you bet $1, you'll only win 25 cents, right? And the last horse, if you bet $1, you can win $100. Doc, he went and cashed in because he hedged his bet, right? So that's an example of hedging your bet. Now, nobody's hedging their bets about birth, death, old age, and disease. They're all convinced that when I die, everything is over. That's this product of modern education. But an intelligent person, they'll hedge their bets. Now, how do you hedge your bet? If you're spending 8 to 10 hours working with materialistic people all the time, then you should spend at least 2, 3, 4 hours with Krishna. Then you're hedging your bet. Because there was this French philosopher called Blaise. Blaise Pascal. There are different Pascals. This Blaise Pascal was a French philosopher. And he said that whether God exists or doesn't exist is like flipping a coin, heads or tails. You only have 50% validation, because it's either going to be heads or tails. You keep flipping enough times, it's going to even out. So you have a 50-50 chance that God exists or doesn't exist. He said, if God doesn't exist, then you are a loser, right? Because you believe that God doesn't exist, so you led a life of sinful activity, and now God doesn't exist. All right, you're a one-time loser. If you believe in God and follow God's instructions, you can be a two-time winner. Because if He exists, you go back to Godhead. And number two, you led a good life. You didn't take intoxication. You didn't have illicit sex. You didn't do all those bad things. So you didn't have illicit sex and all those things. So that means that you're a two-time winner. You can only be a one-time loser. But the person who doesn't believe in God, he's a two-time loser. He led a bad life, and now he's going to hell. You see how smart some people are? The odds are in your favor if you believe in God and follow Krishna's instructions. You can only be a one-time loser, but if you're not spiritually inclined, you can be a two-time loser. It's even worse. You see? So, you have to hedge your bet. All right, I'm going to stop right there. I'll give you plenty of time to come up with a question. Who has a question? Let me see. Okay, go ahead. I hope it works this time.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So Maharaj, a lot of let's say people from India, Hinduism, they believe in worshipping Lakshmi so that they get money. And if they are so convinced,
instead of worshipping Lakshmi to get Krishna or Vishnu, they're worshipping Lakshmi to get money. Does that make sense?
I'm even more amazed, Maharaj. They believe that they have the conviction that, and they only worship once in a year. If they have conviction in Lakshmi to give them money, why can't they worship every day? What stops them?
Because they're not interested really in Lakshmi. They're only interested in getting money from her. They don't want to do any tapasya. There's no jnana and there's no vairagya. There's just their greed. Aham mameti, I, me, and mine. That's the only thing that counts for them. I, me, and mine. I, me, and mine. Right? So that is a materialist. They're going to be complete losers. They end up with 4 legs and a wet snout, like a dog or a cat or something, in their next life. You might look good if you were a cat. What do you think? Huh? No. You don't want to go back like that. You should get very serious about Krishna consciousness. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anybody?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Bol.
So today you talked about that, it's a very simple instruction that we are not body, we are soul. And 2 days back also, one of our devotee, Rantidev Prabhu, asked the same question, that what is the first instruction of Krishna? And then we are talking about this, that we are not body, we are soul. But even though we are practicing, it's very hard to, we understand theoretically, internalize and practice it. And the thing which we discussed, if we really understand that we are soul, we shouldn't feel discomfort. When the events are happening, we shouldn't feel the ache and all, right? If somebody says bad thing, it shouldn't hurt, I shouldn't get angry. So what are some of the practical tips where we can internalize this? That,
okay, let's go one by one. Somebody insults you. Can you point where it hurts?
Probably the ego. Maybe we can think, oh, that person is wrong.
No. Where does it hurt? Can you point to it? Like if you have a toothache, you can point. It's right here. There's this one right here, right? All right, now, you got insulted. Where does it hurt? You go to the doctor and say, look, I'm really hurt. Can you put your stethoscope on me and tell me where it's hurting? He'll say, there's nothing wrong with you. So where did it hurt? You tell me.
Hurt I think is in the mind.
No, it's in the false ego. So what's hurt is something that's false. It's not you. Are you the false ego? Huh? Are you the false ego? No, it's something false. You're not that thing. You have an eternal soul. Your soul is not hurt. It can't die. It can't get old. It can't get injured. Well, you're not reading Bhagavad Gita, so you're not having enough association with Shastric evidence. Okay, what does it say in the Bhagavad Gita? Second chapter. It says, it's all about the soul. It says, oh, I'm sorry, in the wrong chapter. Second chapter, verse number. You have to excuse my slowness in changing pages here. Avinasi tatad vidhi yena sarvam idam tatam. Vinasam abhiyasyasya kaschit kartam arhati. That which pervades the entire body, meaning the soul, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. You're not reading Bhagavad Gita enough, Prabhu. Do you agree or not agree?
Maharaj, I totally...
you would not have asked this question if you were reading Bhagavad Gita.
No, Maharaj, the point I am trying to make, theoretically, know it. Conviction-wise, right? You asked the question, you challenged us that, are we really living it? Are we really, like you said that for 1.5 months, you've been just focusing on Krishna, that, okay, Krishna, do that, right? And I'm asking that, for us, even theoretically we know it, but to practice it, like do like you said.
Unless you practice it, your theoretical knowing it is zero. Absolute zero. You have to practice it. You have to believe it. You have to not get angry when you're insulted, because it wasn't you that was insulted. It was the false ego that was insulted. You're not the false ego. You have an eternal soul. It is imperishable. You see, it cannot be hurt. It cannot be destroyed. It cannot die. Do you believe this or not?
I totally believe it, Maharaj. I totally believe it. But
then you would not have asked this question. If you totally believe it, you would not have asked the question.
there are anarthas in me which is not purifying quickly enough. So that's how.
Well, in the United States Marines, they say there's two types of Marines, the quick and the dead. So you better get quicker to not only theoretically understand, but put it into action. Action is better than precept. That means you can give classes, you can give so many slokas, but if you don't show the example, it's almost zero. There's something good there, but it's almost zero. You have to actually put your faith on the line. Prabhupada put his faith on the line by coming to America with no money and no disciples. Are you ready to do something like that? Now, I'm not picking on you right now, but I'm just giving you a practical example. Are you ready to do what Prabhupada did? To go to some foreign country with no money, no disciples, and just start preaching and building up a program? Most people are not going to do that, even though they're devotees. But in the beginning of this movement, when I joined, I was told when I was just in the movement like 2 weeks to become a temple president and then to open a temple. And, you know, I didn't know what I was doing, but because Prabhupada said that I had to do that, Okay, I did it. I opened the first temple in Paris with no money, no assets at all. Yeah. So I've experienced these things. You can also experience them. I'm not saying you should give up what you're doing now. I'm saying you have to get more serious about understanding what the Shastra says. You have an eternal soul. It's imperishable. It cannot be hurt. So why are you saying I'm hurt when someone says something negative to you? They didn't insult you. They insulted the false ego. Okay? Any other questions? Yes. So now, after this question and answer, Yasadudala Prabhu will say a few words also. Hare Krishna. Go ahead.
So I'm trying to understand this belief thing that you're explaining. So if suppose if my hand burns and I feel the hurt, does it mean that I don't believe that I am the body because I'm feeling the hurt?
No, it just means that you made a mistake.
No, but you said that if you read Bhagavad Gita, you know you're not the body. If you believe it, then it won't hurt.
When did I say that?
When the Prabhu was asking about somebody insults him, and you asked that if you believe
That has nothing to do with a burn.
but it's a different kind of hurt. So in this case, the false ego is hurting. So if you're not the false ego, if you believe that, then it will not hurt.
If you believe that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you also believe when he says, Konteya Pratijanihi, Name Bhakta Pranashyati, that my devotee will never perish. So, therefore, the devotee who actually believes Krishna's words will be protected by the Lord. How do you think that Ambarish Maharaj survived being attacked by Durvasa Muni, who was a perfect mystic yogi? Why do you think that Prahlad Maharaj did not die when his father was the strongest person in the whole universe? Why do you believe that Dhruva Maharaj was able to become completely successful? You're not reading Shastra, Prabhu. You're coming up with these questions that are not actually factual. You're coming up with theoretical questions and avoiding the Shastric evidence. Shastric evidence says, Krishna says that he will protect you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes. You have a question? Give him a microphone. No? Okay. Any other questions? All right, then, Yasodhara Prabhu, will you please come forward? When the devotee said to Prabhupada, we've committed sins for many, many lifetimes, it'll take a long time to get rid of those sins, Prabhupada said, no. In 1 second, you'll get rid of those sins. You are not reading the Shastra. Sarvadharmam purityaja mahamekam saranam vraja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshisyami mahasucha. You have to actually believe the Shastra. Go ahead.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yeah, I just want to share a couple of things for those of you that have been coming to this temple for a while. Just the history of this temple a little bit, and like Maharaj talked about, we're trying to do the fundraising, the last leg for paying off the mortgage. A bit of history, I think this temple was opened in 2007. I remember like 2003, somewhere around there, Maharaj said, was the first one to say, I'm going to give $100,000 to this temple. And $100,000 is a large amount of money. Amritanand Prabhu, you might remember as well. At the time,
You know how I gave that money?
Yes, Maharaj. I was going to say.
Okay.
At the time Maharaj made the pledge, Maharaj didn't even have the money. Maharaj's house burned down a few months after Maharaj made the pledge. And Maharaj, as an insurance company paid the money, Maharaj gave the $100,000. Personally, I mean, I think those of you, who've been around 2004, Amritanath Prabhu may remember. I remember buying a car in 2004. I paid $40,000 for the car. And that evening, somebody told me that in this temple, that we used to every night spread rice on the floor so the rats won't actually go on the deities. Right? So I felt so ashamed that here I bought a $40,000 car, yet we haven't built the temple. That that we had to deal with the deities. Now rats are crawling out the deities to make sure the devotees are putting rice. Prabhu, you may remember that from that time. So that's how we got into the first time. At the time Maharaj gave a large amount of donation. Nandasa Prabhu gave large donation. Amritanath Prabhu gave large donation. We gave $100,000. Now Amrita Prabhu gave $100,000. A lot of devotees gave a lot of donation to make this this project come true. And now, many of us benefited from the temple that since after this is constructed. We're very much on the verge of opening a new temple, just like back in 2004, 2005, we're all working together to build this temple. And many of you that have been around for a long time and may be making a lot of sacrifices, some of you since then joined the temple, have benefited from this temple. We have the same opportunity now to contribute to open the Bellevue temple, so that we can continue to preach just the way we've been preaching here over the last 15 years. And it's been a desire of Maharaj to open this temple. Maharaj has been working tirelessly over the last 10 plus years. And when Maharaj said about a month and a half ago he wants to pay this temple off, I was like, Maharaj, and you may not know, actually we took about 10-year loan 10 years ago when we bought the Bellevue temple, and it's coming up on a balloon payment. And my reaction was, Maharaj, let's just refinance. I'm not sure where you're going to come by the money. But somehow Maharaj has been meditating on it, and Maharaj already paid 1.25 million. And we're very close to paying the rest off, because Maharaj sincere desire to pay it off. And I also remember about 3 or 4 years ago, we were all here at the last day of Purushottam month, right? And devotees gave, we did homam here, and devotees in Purushottam month, it's very auspicious to give donation to Brahmanas. So on the last day, so many of you probably nodding, give donation to Maharaj. And Maharaj said, I'm going to take all this money and go buy a new truck so that we can distribute prasadam and distribute, spread Krishna consciousness. We're in the middle of Purushottam month again. I think we're about another 10 days away from wrapping up Purushottam month. So I sincerely hope all of you consider giving, giving generously to, make Maharaj wish come true of paying off this mortgage in this month. So, we have unique opportunity. Those of you that have, you're here now, if you want to help build the 2007 temple, you can't. But clearly you have an opportunity to build the 2023 temple. So please consider generous donation.
The point is, it's not to please Maharaj. It's to please Balaji and Krishna, because they're going to be worshipped in that temple.
Yes, Maharaj, and it's like, we have an unprecedented opportunity to preach in Bellevue. Once the temple opens, we'll have full access to the building to preach. We're very close to opening Radhakrishna temple as well, so we have a full platform to preach to where the city is headed. Like, those of you who've been to Bellevue, you can see a lot of high-rise construction coming that way. So Maharaj had the vision of buying this temple 10 years ago, knowing that, this is where the city is headed. So it's going to be a great platform to spread Srila Prabhupada's mission, like Maharaj said.
And the value of that place has gone up tremendously, because it's right in the Spring District.
Yeah, that's all I want to say. Thank you very much, Maharaj.
I give $1,000 to Balaji temple.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Yasodalal Prabhu, for your inspiration. And I was thinking like maybe we should wait until, we normally do fundraising on Janmashtami, but it's a Purushottam month. Today's moment seems to be right. So I would like to pledge $25,000 right now. And once I get the job, I promise Maharaj I'll pledge another $25,000.
Haribol.
And it's not just the big donations. There are many people who actually contributed in the last 10 years, which actually helped in paying off the major part of the Bellevue loan. That's why we're now at close to $1.5 million. So even whatever you could contribute, everything helps. It doesn't need to be 100 Ks and 400 Ks and 300 Ks, right?
Well, I want to also say that I'm going to give my last penny for this temple. I have $20,000. I'm giving it this week.
Hari Bol. So, Maharaj, there are one more person also contributed 100K, right? You were saying.
Srinivas Kasam has promised $100,000 in the beginning of September.
Okay. So if anybody is inspired right now, you can say your pledge. The way to look at that is, we all give certain amount of donation every year. So if you can actually consider the next 2 years donation, if you can pledge this year, so we can pay off this loan instead of paying the bank the 7% interest rate. So you can also look at that way. So this is the big push, and the temple is very close to operational. So we are just waiting for the final steps of inspection now to be done. So anybody else inspired? Now please take the mic and you can. And the one who is coming actually is a Balaji Bhakta. Every Sunday he sings Annamacharya Kirtans. As in fact, he's worshipping Lord Balaji. At least I met him 10 years ago. Since that, before that also maybe. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Sir, I would like to support with the $20,000 right now,
Hari Bol.
and I will continue supporting as much as I can.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
ప్రభు ఈ సందర్భంగా ఒక హనుమాచార్య కీర్తన అందుకోవచ్చు కదా చక్కగాను.
Yes, Mataji, at the end.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I would like to donate 25,000.
Hari Bol.
I would like to donate $15,000, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I'd like to not just donate my time, but I'm doing an internship, so I'd like to donate 2,000 from my
Thank you very
internship.
much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I'll donate $10,000.
Are we writing down all these names?
Yeah.
It's going really fast. I don't see you writing anything down.
With the correct amount of zeros.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. That should be the goal. Bishop.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Yeah, I want to talk couple of things actually. Because I manage very closely, I know how the funds come and go here in the temple. Couple of things I want to clarify here. Everybody think that hey, every time they're asking Balaji temple donation, that may be going on in their mind. But this project is very big. What I see, when we took this project, first of all, the project cost was 4.3 million. At that time, there was close to 3.6 million loan we took actually. And initially, Srikant Satyanarayana Prabhu was given 500K, and afterwards a lot of contribution came. But we started with that. But within 10 years, the loan of around 3.6 million, we have bought into 2.6 million. That means to say we repaid 1 million. And also the interest, because interest is not a small amount, especially in commercial lending, 78%. We would have repaid close to 12 to 30, 1.2 million or something. On top of it, now we have done the Balaji temple improvements, close to 2.2 million already gone to the that particular temple. That also we have contributed from here. And on top of it, we are already projecting another 600K. We are actually need to give to the builder now to make this before we enter into the temple, because that's a condition. Why I'm giving all this figure, it's not that we are asking money here. We are already 5 million is gone from the temple just to start the temple. And on top of it, maintenance is coming. It's a big investment. It's if you ask me from the commercial point of view, it's not that simple. But all because it's happening because of mercy. I can say that 2 months back when we were both going to the bank, I just told that Maharaj, big commitment is coming, 2.6 million, and the temple, what to do. You told me that, okay, let me do something, and I was totally shocked, Maharaj. Within 1 month, you are able to repay 1.2 million. I couldn't believe yesterday, because I saw in the bank, we got the money, we transferred it, the loan has reduced now. It is a miracle if you ask me. 1.2 million, 1.3 million, it's not that simple money. Before coming to US, I thought we can make million, but it's not simple. Only fortunate people can make millionaires. It's a check-to-check country. Here, it's not much money is left out. Only who are very lucky who can make money, and especially who are very close to Krishna. I see that these things can happen, miracles, only because of Krishna mercy and because of your dedication, Maharaj. I don't. In this situation, I see you have gone through so many things because of this temple. It's not that simple. It's a very big commitment. I can say that. And it's happening. Before going into the temple, we are able to repay so much. I was little shocked, in fact, if you ask me. Thank you for doing all this, Maharaj. I was really thinking, because if I go and ask money, I will not get $100, to make it simple. Who will believe me, Maharaj, to give that money to the temple? Yeah, definitely we are fortunate, because I know that this temple will actually give lot of devotees, new devotees in the Bellevue temple. They will have another 50 years, they will have a roaring time because of your contribution and your vision, Maharaj. That much I can say. With that, I want to contribute, even though I am not a millionaire, I can contribute 10,000 from my side, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Vidyanath Prabhu. Now, our scribe also is actually wrote his name here.
What? So Maharaj, hopefully in the future, Krishna willing and facilitating, we can do more. But right now, I'm signing up for 25K.
Wow.
Contribution.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I would like to contribute $5,000.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Very interesting class in the beginning, and you really shook me up, because theoretically, as Prabhu was saying, we are all aware of what Krishna is teaching. However, when we go deep inside, and it's very difficult, do we really believe it? So, but your actions and past many years, I've been closely working with you and seeing how the things are going in the temple. I at least can say from my side that you believe it, and I need to learn from you. So with that, I would like to contribute 10K as of now.
Haribol.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, on behalf of my dad, Damodar Hari Prabhu, he would like to contribute 50,000.
Wow.
Haribol, Damodar Hari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I would like to donate 10K Maharaj. 10,000.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for inspiring all of us. And without all the, I don't know how many gallons of blood you have spent for this congregation to groom us and get us this far. Without that kind of a sacrifice, we won't be sitting here and be able to talk about this topic, because otherwise it will all be theory. So you are the one who practices that and shows us an example. Right? Because it's easy to learn through an example than talking in theory. So we are all indebted to you for all that sacrifice you make and being an example for us how to lead a life. And especially as a grihastha, because being a sannyasi is a different trajectory, but as a grihastha you brought up a family and you had a business and you transitioned smoothly to a vanaprastha and be able to guide us like as an example how to lead a life. And along with this you also built temples and built a big congregation. That's not something anybody can do it. You are empowered by Prabhupada, you are empowered by Krishna, and because of that you are able to accomplish this. And that drives faith naturally for you. And I could empathize Damodarari Prabhu, because, yes, we understand, we look at you and we learn from that and we read Bhagavad Gita, and that's where we're slowly following your footsteps and getting there, right? And still we do have challenges every day, and that's natural, I would think. But hopefully, as we go for a few more years, we will look at you and we will get to that point, yes, we 100%, we are into this, right? So I just wanted to share my heartfelt gratitude and for your sacrifice, and as a congregation, we are all 100% have that gratitude towards you, right? And so with that, I wanted to donate at least $10,000 for now, and hopefully Krishna helps me in my journey so that we can do a lot more. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Shamakan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. As of now, from our side, Maharaj, from my side, from my family side, we are ready to give 18K Maharaj.
18,000. Sudhakar Prabhu. 18. Some special number. 18,000.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you always for keeping us closer to Krishna and helping us serve Prabhupada's mission. With your blessings, our family would like to contribute 10K for now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Nanda Maharaj Prabhu.
Maharaj, I'll like to pledge 20K for now.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Anonymous, $25,000.
Wow.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Looking at your dedication, and as you said, you have donated your last penny also. So I would like to donate 10K, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else? Anyone online who is listening? Namarat Prabhu? I see there are many devotees who could not come, but hopefully they are listening online. You can follow up offline and let us know how you would like to support. Before I...
Maharaj, I think it would be good to just outline next steps in terms of what we're going to do for the temple. Starting the service and all that, what is our plan? It would be nice if you can speak a few words on that.
I'll let Yasodhara say that. He wants to know when we're going to open the temple.
So before that, I'll tell what the work is pending. We have to make the parking lot ADA compatible. So right now it was old code 6 degrees. It has to be brought to the 2 degrees gradation, and we have to add one additional stall also, parking stall. So the work, Namada Prabhu is going to start next week. So after that, it may take 2 weeks or 3 weeks, right? And plus there is a fire suppression system in the kitchen that need to be inspected, which currently is not working as expected. We're working on that. These two are the major work items. We expect this to be completed in 2 weeks' time. And then we were considering to apply for a temporary occupancy permit. We are checking the possibility of that. So Ajay Prabhu, we are checking whether we can apply for a temporary occupancy permit. If it comes, it should come in maybe another 2 to 3 weeks, pending these things, right? That means we cannot open the temple in a big way, but we can do a soft opening, just by bringing our Utsav Murtis, who always come here for the last 10 years, Balaji, we can start with them. And then once we get the full occupancy permit, let's say there could be another 6 weeks from now, we can do open it for more public, so the public can come in a big way. Then we have the bigger deities, the deities which we want to install in the temple. That requires some additional support we need to build below the altar, so that we are taking care of all the weight of the deities and the congregation members, right? So that is something in parallel we're going to work, and then we have to make the structural modification. The work is not big, but we need to make sure that we are doing proper engineering there. So Ajay Prabhu is helping there. With that could take, the construction might take a month, but the city permits will take time, because now they want to make sure that the structure bolstering what we did.
All right, but wait a minute. Just make it real simple. When do you think we'll get the occupancy permit?
So full occupancy permit, if everything goes well, 6 weeks from now. And temporary occupancy permit is what? The temporary occupancy permit, we are trying. If we can get much before that. So our original goal is to, before Balaram Purnima, we would like to start the temple, but every time we desire something else comes up. But let's pray. This temporary occupancy permit will happen soon. So, Namada Prabhu, when will we know?
In 3 weeks we get temporary.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
24 weeks.
Yeah.
But one thing is, when we get the temporary occupancy permit, we can operate. But with the bond, security bond, if something happens, we are responsible for other things.
Yeah.
If we are able to apply temporary occupancy permit, we get it in 3-4 weeks. Like Prabhu told, by Balrama Purnima, we get the permit to use the soft opening, not the big thing. And yeah. So,
Those who have not seen the deities, they are actually resting in the Value Temple.
just to add one more thing, we received the deities from Tirumala in India.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there is a miscalculation in the weight of the deities happened. The current deities, what we received, we can't place in the altar now because of the weight constraints. We are going to work with the city or for the permit comes done. It may take 6 months to put real deities. Until then, we're going to start the temple with the Buddha Vigraha.
Yeah.
For the Utsav worship, we need to get full permit?
No, yes, okay. Like occupancy permit. Occupancy permit means like
Open to public.
permission to give the entry to the building.
Madhav Chandra Prabhu would like to donate 5,000.
Hari.
Thank you.
So as Namada Prabhu mentioned, that deities are resting in the Bellevue Temple. Those who have not visited, those who have not seen, please let us know, Namada Prabhu, and you can fix a time and you can actually go and see the deities. They are very beautiful, and we are ready to actually waiting when they can actually manifest on the altar. So the Lord should motivate you as well once you see Him. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaji. Before 3 days, I am discussing with my Prabhuji how they manage the budget, everything, and I am counting how they earn the money, how they get the all steps, everything. But today, everything clear, and I discussed with my Prabhuji, he's in with Yogit, and we want to donate our 10K right now.
Wow.
And,
So if I have the amount up to now, then I'm going to make another statement. Go ahead.
456.
How much?
456K including thousand.
Okay, I guarantee you we're going to pay off the whole mortgage.
Hari Hari.
And I'll know in 1 week. There's a possibility that someone is going to give a huge amount to cover the rest of the mortgage. Yeah.
Jai.
So thank you very much. I was not expecting such. Oh, okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So, the love of the devotees right here is beyond measurable, Maharaj. It's not only me, my sister, my brother-in-law who visited this month, who were part of the Derby days as well as the Ananda Mela and the food truck, and they were super impressed, and almost whomever that I have interacted, not only they were supporting me, even though I always felt I am not the initiated devotee from this congregation, I am not part of this congregation, but they have included...
How can you say you're not part of this congregation?
So, they welcomed my sister. I just mentioned to Mataji, who teaches the dance, my sister dances well. Immediately she have included her in the Derby days. And the miracle happened that day, I have to tell you. She has a sun allergy, Maharaj. She cannot be outside even for few minutes. She has to wear a hat or a coolers and all that. That day she was there more than 2 hours. Nothing, not even a single dot in her face happened. And it was a miracle, Maharaj. And I'm 100% thankful for Mataji to include us. The same way on the Vedic village, my sister was part of the clay Ganesh. I was thinking, oh, with the guest, how can I participate? How can I volunteer? Without any hesitation, without any background, they have included every single thing to accommodate us, Maharaj. It was really touching for my brother-in-law and sister, and they said, I thought this is the first time after many decades they have never visited America. They felt this place, Seattle especially, they have traveled all over the world. They felt the connection to Lord. The food truck, when they served, Prabhuji did not even ask anything. Whomever is managing, Manoj Prabhu, immediately he let go the other devotees' turn and let us be part of it. Let our family part of that day. So we were very thankful. My brother-in-law never ironed the clothes. He have never served because he was always a boss, like, you know. So seeing him doing all this, he felt really humble and gratitude to many people, Maharaj. So on behalf of my little school, we would like to contribute $10,000 to Balaji Temple. If there is any way my Prabhuji can match it through his office, I would do so. Haribo. Thank you for the blessings.
Thank you. What? 3, what? Yeah.
Maharaj, our Arun Rangachari Prabhu just called, and him and Mataji are donating $5,000.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. On behalf of Abhi, we want to do 10K.
Wow.
And Microsoft, I work for Microsoft, Krishna's Mercy, and they will do the 50% matching as well.
Amazing. Thank you.
Anyone else? No amount is small amount. Please think about that.
Well, that's a new proverb. No amount is what? What did you say?
No amount is small amount. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Our daughter who is in college, she wants to donate 500, and from our family we want to donate $2,000. Maharaj.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, from my kids, we're going to donate $3,000 more.
Haribol. Okay, so thank you very, very much. And yeah. Okay. Thank you, Vivek. With such enthusiasm that we just experienced, I'm going to, I'll stick my neck out. We're going to definitely pay off that whole mortgage. Haribol. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Sure, yeah. Okay.
Prabhu, can you please sing Anumachara Kirtana, please?
Hare Krishna, our goal to raise these funds is so that we can pay off the loan this month. So if you can actually fulfill your pledge in the next 2 weeks, that will really be helpful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, from Sri Kundalata, our elder daughter, she would like to contribute $1,000.
Thank you.
This kirtana is one of the kirtana about Anumacharya written about Krishna.
Haribol.
Why Krishna? Anumacharya is questioning everyone why we are not following Krishna. He did so many miracles in the childhood, and he given many quotes from Bhagavatam, and he tried to questioning and explaining his miracles, and he's feeling amazing about how he showed all those miracles in the very childhood.
Amazing.
It's all in Telugu.
He believed it.
Yes, I believe it. Kaniyuganaruni mahima Kaurava Kamsa Jarasandhadulu Manujulu Danujulu Champirana Gavini Marini Sharanamu Choravalada Kaniyuganaruni Mahima Kaurava Kamsa Jarasandhadulu Manujulu Danajula Champirana Gavini Marini Sharanamu Choravalada Pukkitane lokamulu chupitivi putaki channatu dagitivi Pakkanane bandi tanni virichitivi balulu seseti panuliviya Pukkitane lokamulu chupitivi putaki channatu dagitivi పకననే బండి తన్ని విరిచితివి బాలులు చేసేటి పనులివియా అకరతో తృణావర్తు నణచితివి ఆబోతుల కీటణచితివి చిక్కించి యనలము చేత మింగితివి శిశువులు చేసేటి పనులివియా శిశువులు చేసేటి పనులివియా కనియుగానరూని మహిమ కౌరవ కంసజరాసంధాదులు మనుజులు ధనజుల చంపిరనగవిని మరిని శరణము చొరవలదా తొడిబడ మద్దులు భువిపై గూలగ దొబ్బియ ఘాసురు చంపితివి బడినే గోవర్ధనగిరి ఎత్తితి పడుచులు చేసేటి పనులివియా తొడిబడ మద్దులు భువిపై గూలగ దొబ్బియ గాసురు చంపితివి బడినే గోవర్ధనగిరి ఎత్తితి పడుచులు చేసేటి పనులివియా అడరి బ్రహ్మమాయకు ప్రతిమాయలు అట్టే గడించి నిలిచితివి పిడికిట చాణూరు ఏనుగగొట్టితి పిన్నలు చేసేటి పనులివియా పిన్నలు చేసేటి పనులివియా కనియుగానరూని మహిమ కౌరవ కంసజరాసంధాదులు మనుజులు ధనజుల చంపిరనగవిని మరిని శరణము చొరవలదా కాళింగుని మదమణచిదౌవుగా కడగడలకు భోజోపితివి గోలవై యజ్ఞ బలములిచ్చితివి గోవాళ్ళు చేసేటి పనులివియా కాళింగుని మదమణచిదౌవుగా కడగడలకు భోజోపితివి గోలవై యజ్ఞ ఫలములిచ్చితివి గోవాళ్ళు చేసేటి పనులివియా ఈ లీల శ్రీ వెంకటాద్రి మీదనే ఇందరికి పొడ చూపితివి బేలుదనంబుల నెంచి చూడ పసి బిడ్డలు చేసేటి పనులివియా బిడ్డలు చేసేటి పనులివియా కనియుగానరూని మహిమ కౌరవ కంసజరాసంధాదులు మనుజులు ధనజుల చంపిరనగవిని మరిని శరణము చొరవలదా మరిని శరణము చొరవలదా మరిని శరణము చొరవలదా హరే కృష్ణ 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 హరే 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 రామ 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 హరే 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 కృష్ణ 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 హరే 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 రామ 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 హరే 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 కృష్ణ 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 హరే 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 రామ 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 హరే హరే
Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhu. Well, I'm sorry it's taking so long. This was an exceptional, let's say, meeting. Thank you very, very much. Keep this in your mind. Do you actually believe what Krishna is saying? Nothing remains unachieved when the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with someone. By transcendental achievement, one understands everything else to be insignificant. One who engages in transcendental loving service is elevated to the highest perfectional stage by the Lord Himself, who is situated in everyone's heart. We should take this very seriously. We should never think that we are materialistically created. We have an eternal soul that's part and parcel of Krishna. We belong to Krishna. That's why Krishna's doing everything to bring us back to him, because we were with him originally, but we walked away from him due to being attracted by some nonsense things. So now is our chance to rekindle our complete faith in Krishna and engage in devotional service to balance our time in the material world, where we have to deal with so many material responsibilities. We should balance it off by being regular members of the temple, coming regularly to hear classes. And that means you go to sleep early and you wake up early. That's the first step of spiritual life. Going to sleep before 10 o'clock at night, and waking up no later than 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and engaging in spiritual activities for at least 2.5, 3 hours before you go to work. You learn to do this, Krishna will protect you, and you'll go back to Godhead in this lifetime. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very, very much.
Rajesh Prabhu, I was a student earlier here with my class, and then now we are doing some Author Nanda Maharaj class. They are donating 20.
Thank you very much. Krishna always bless you. Krishna Matir Astu. May you always remember Krishna. Krishna Madarpanam Astu. Offer all your service to the Lord.
They're very helpful. They come all the way to Bethel.
Athol is our next temple.
You have to make it happen. Send them.
She's singing. I'll check that. Hello, hello. ISKCON నుంచి ప్రవచనాలు చేస్తారు.